Tomorrow?
And today.
Today?
Yeah. Today. Enough.
Yay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
What?
And small. There,
Alright. Maybe the bottom?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Ready? Back it.
That. Okay.
3 days.
3 day?
Yeah.
In Krabi, mai mi
อ๋อกระบี่ไม่มีค่ะ
Okay, ขอบคุณครับ
It's been super productive. I know what you're eating. Gross.
I'm tired. I am sore. We've been staying up till 3 a.m. every night looking for certain snakes. I've been washing my clothes in buckets, which actually isn't that hard, but still, buckets. My leech bites are itchy, but it's all part of it. We're on the hunt for some really cool snakes I've never seen before. So today, we're making the drive all the way out to Phuket. There is a snake in Phuket that you can only find on that island. It's venomous, it's beautiful, and we're gonna find it tonight. Stay tuned, hopefully you've been enjoying everything I've been posting because I am suffering just to get these shots for you. But yeah, come with us to Phuket today. Let's find this pit viper that you probably didn't even know was on that island. And yeah, Thailand's awesome, weather's beautiful, and snakes are not really out, but we're still averaging between 5 to, our best night was 27 snakes just the other night. So they're here, just the best ones aren't moving. On the hunt for that crate though. Is the black cocoa caramel with coffee?
Cocoa black.
Is this with coffee?
Not coffee.
Can I have it with espresso?
Espresso.
1 espresso in that?
Top on.
Yeah, like add coffee.
Espresso shot. Top on black cocoa caramel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then 1 water as well.
1 water.
Mm-hmm. And 1 muffin. Muffin. Mm. Instead of driving all the way to Phuket from Pattalong in 1 day, we decided to book a night in a place called Phang Nga. Phang Nga is the province north of Phuket. It's a beautiful place, it's quiet, there's a lot of jungle, and we found a resort to stay at. And even though we booked 1 night, we decided we were going to come back here because it was so serene, so beautiful, and we also found some snakes here too. After all these days of using soap bar as a shampoo and doing my laundry in buckets, having a bathroom like this was pure luxury, and it got me hyped for some epic herping in Phuket. We went to meet up with a Phuket local named Ivank, and he took us on a trail around one of the local national parks. The trail was about 4 kilometers long, running right through this forest, and even though this does look like a jungle, it's actually an old gum tree plantation. The gum trees were abandoned a long time ago, and all of the plant life you're seeing right now essentially is just overgrowth that sprung up once this plantation stopped getting cultivated. The main point of interest on this trail was a river. Since it's dry season, the general theme of this entire journey is to look for snakes that are near bodies of water. And since it's dry here in Phuket, our best bet was to go around this creek and look for one particular species of snake that is only found on this island. Even though we are looking specifically for kraits, we couldn't help but stop and look for the Phuket Pit Viper. This pit viper is a lot different than the regular green pit vipers that we're finding all over Thailand, because this one only lives on this island and it has a very unique coloration. So I was excited when we found our very first male Phuket Pit Viper.
That's it there.
The snake was gorgeous. This was a lot cooler in person than I expected. I knew we had these pit vipers on Phuket, and I've seen some pictures online, but seeing one up close, especially with this green, red, and white coloration, this is just a stunning animal. All around the creek we were finding these green frogs, and even though they might look like some standard green tree frog or paddy frog, these are actually poisonous rock frogs. They have an extremely toxic secretion that comes out of their skin, and you definitely don't want to touch these if you ever see one.
I don't want to waste the walk.
We started to run into a lot more of these Phuket Pit Vipers. A lot more than I was expecting. Even in a lot of other places in Thailand, when we're trying to look for any type of pit viper, to find as many as 7 in just one small area around a creek is pretty good.
I'm not going to rush around because I want shots.
Oh, that's so cool. That is beautiful. Right behind where we were taking some photos was another Phuket Pit Viper, and this time it was a very small female, inches from where I had my bag set down. Just a few steps up the bank from the river, we found a very small snake up on one of the palm fronds, and it turned out to be a common mock viper. This snake is not venomous like a pit viper, but it still has some venom and some fangs at the rear of its mouth. Snakes like these are really neat because they pretend to be a more dangerous species when in fact they themselves often either don't have any venom or have venom that is harmless to their predators.
Snake go there.
Nearby the mock viper, we ran into a female Phuket Pit Viper, and you can see here it looks a lot different than the male. It is more dull and darker green and lacks a lot of the color patternings that you would see with the male, yet you could still tell it's not a normal green pit viper.
It's had the most population in the road during range in Yala.
Up next, we found an elegant bronzeback. These snakes are awesome. During the day, those copper scales shine almost as if they're made out of metal. Really cool snake. We continued down the river, looking along the banks for any sign of a krait or any other snake. And we eventually ran into a tree and saw a very particular tail hanging above us.
I didn't even think to look there.
No. Even though that's exactly what they do, they sit up there. Is that
This is pretty low
for one of those? Yeah.
It's moving. We need to maneuver it through.
Yeah.
It's a little hard to see here, but we found a red-tailed racer sleeping high up in the canopy. This was one of JP's target snakes. He's always wanted to catch one, and we had to forage around looking for sticks tall enough to reach it. The problem is, even though we did find a stick that was tall enough, it kept catching on the leaves around it, and as soon as JP got the stick on the snake, he couldn't pull it back. So all it did was just irritate the snake, and it continued to climb up the tree.
He's moving.
These aren't common
He's moving
snakes,
down.
and it's safe to say we lost this one, but at least we know they're here, we know where to find them, and we'll probably come back to this spot and see if we can have another go.
He's falling.
No, it's going up now. It's going up.
He's going up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a shame.
Probably the last bug that I would want to hold in the wild is a jungle nymph. These guys are horrible. They're covered in spines. They will attack you using their hind legs, and their bite is horrible. I tried lifting this guy up, and I couldn't do it. It tried to cut me every single time. Probably the coolest find all night was a red giant flying squirrel. These squirrels are huge. They're the size of probably a small dog, to be honest.
Maybe shake something. It seems very indecisive.
When we first rolled up to this group of flying squirrels, one of them actually flew at our heads. I think it was trying to attack one of our headlights, but it was the first thing we saw. Just this giant animal flying at us, landing right behind our heads on a tree, and unfortunately none of our cameras were out to catch this. So I just kept my camera on one of the other squirrels, hoping it would make a jump as well, and unfortunately it decided to no longer cooperate.
That were extremely defensive.
That's weird.
Yeah.
All the ones here are like puppy dogs.
Yeah, no, that's normally how they are when I've seen them.
We decided to call it a night and head back from the river. About 10 minutes later, I stumbled upon a very active dog-toothed cat snake. Cat snakes are really neat. They have these giant heads, giant eyes. They're mildly venomous, but most of them don't really have a biting problem. There's a bunch of different species that all live in different environments at different levels of the forest. Some of them can be in trees, some of them can be at the water's edge, and some of them, like this dog-toothed cat snake, are on the ground. And this one is also almost disguised as if it was a small reticulated python, which just made the snake a little bit cooler. I woke up late, as usual, and as I was walking to breakfast, I found out JP had found 2 rare snakes. The first snake was a paradise flying snake, which essentially is a more colorful version of the flying snake that I caught in the Patalong video. Unfortunately, JP did lose that snake. However, the second snake turned out to be a red vine snake. It might not look like much, but this snake is actually pretty rare in Thailand. They're very hard to see and hard to handle. These are very quick, fast-moving snakes. These snakes are so small, it was actually very difficult for either my action cam or my Sony to focus in on its face. But I did my best. It was a lot more low profile than the bronzebacks, but I could see there's some similarity there. But overall, these are really cool, flighty snakes.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
We made sure to rehydrate the snake when we were done. It was getting hot and we noticed the snake was getting a little bit too slow, which is sometimes a sign of dehydration. If you handle snakes for too long and you don't pay attention to these signs, sometimes you can kill the snake, so be careful. Coming up next, we're heading over to Khao Sok for our last stop on the hunt for the red-headed krait. This is about as far north as the snake goes, and we knew that if we had any opportunity left to find the snake, it would be here. You're definitely going to want to stick around and see what we found in Khao Sok, because what we found made this entire trip a huge success. So stay tuned, we're about to give it all we got.